All right. Good evening. I recently heard someone talk about how anxious they were about returning to a new life, coming back to groups, being out in the open. And I heard anxiety in her voice, the fear of returning after a year and some months after being isolated. And afterwards, I thought about how instead of anxiety, we can think of the excitement, like the first day, your very first day of school, of first grade, when you were nervous, you didn't know what to expect. But now we have new eyes to see. We can see more clearly. We have to learn all over again, and that's probably a very good thing, to start learning how to connect again in a new way. Maybe when we get together again in large groups or even small groups, we'll notice more. We'll notice the color of someone's eyes. We'll notice the warmth of a smile. We'll just notice more and enjoy more of what we have missed. So with that in mind, let's come inside. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. As you begin to deepen your breath, come to a point where you can fill your breath, your lungs, all the way up to capacity. And hold that breath for a count of 3. And then let it go very slowly. And then when you're completely empty, hold the emptiness for a count of 3. Equalizing your inhale and your exhale. Giving yourself the time to focus, the time to release any anxiety that you may be feeling. Continue at your own pace. Come back to your natural breath. And open your eyes. So let's start our warm-ups. Left arm alongside left ear. Side stretch to the right. Bend your right elbow. Open your heart. Spring off your right hand, come through center, exhale to the left. Bring both arms to center. Left hand to right knee. Look over your right shoulder. Allow your spine to lengthen on the inhale and twist a little more when you're empty of breath. Bring both arms up alongside your ears. Inhale, and then exhale over to the other side, looking over your left shoulder. Bring both arms up alongside your ears, twist back to center, send your arms back behind you, interlace your fingers, little baby back bend, open up your heart. Inhale, and then on an exhale, come forward over your legs any amount. And then on an inhale, slowly unfold. So when I talked before about having to change our focus, change our attitude toward coming back, I think of it as a kind of transformation. It's not just change, it's transforming, perhaps becoming new. We become new. Everybody else becomes new. So throughout our class, we're going to be transforming from one shape, from one type of pose. We do that in yoga anyway, but going to make a special effort to transform from one creature to the other, from one item to the other. So let's send our legs straight out in front of us first before we do that. Come to Dandasana. Toes to the ceiling, elbows pointing behind you, legs active. Inhale, bend your knees, arms up over your head. Exhale, straighten and point your legs, hands to your heart. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Come back to crossed legs for a moment, and we'll go back to that. I skipped something. So the first transformation, we're going to start as a bat. So put one forearm over the other forearm and bow your head in between your arms. So imagine you're hanging upside down in a cave, from a tree, wherever you like to hang out. Evening comes and you lift your head and you begin to open your wings, and you do it very slowly, very, very slowly. And you send your fingers forward, your elbows away from each other. Inhale, exhale, send your elbows back behind you as if they wanted to touch. Inhale, exhale, spread your wings. Inhale, exhale, send your spine back behind you, your palms coming together. Inhale, cut through the air to fly away. Bring the palms of your hands together in front of you. Bring your hands to your heart. So we will be transforming from a bat into a robin. So robin's breath is inhale. Exhale your wings forward, curl your back behind you. Inhale, send your heart forward, spread your wings. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale and inhale. Right. And now back to Dandasana. All right. So we did our joints in just a little while ago, our knee joints. So bring your feet to the mat. Hands behind your thighs. Bring your toes to the mat. And when you do that, you'll tilt slightly back. Your whole back will tilt slightly. And then you're going to lift your right leg and then lift your left leg. And then bring both toes, sets of toes back down. And we'll do that again, inhaling your legs so that they're parallel with the mat. You're holding your thighs. Once more, bring your toes back down to the mat. Lift your legs to parallel position. And then maybe you will float your arms and straighten your legs for boat pose, Navasana. Bring Navasana down, bring your feet down to the mat. So we're going to go from a boat to a fish. So bring your forearms down to the mat. And you're going to lift your heart all the way up to the sky. You're going to drop your head. And as you slide your forearms toward your toes, you're going to allow the top of your head to come down to the mat. Continuing to lift your heart. You're looking behind you. Extend one leg and then the other leg for fish pose. Feel the curve in your spine. Feel your lumbar spine reaching up. Feel your heart reaching up. Slide your forearms closer to your shoulders. Lift your head and bring it back down to the mat. Place your feet flat on the mat. Slide your elbows closer toward your shoulders and come up onto your elbows and slide your elbows under your shoulders, right? And try to maintain a mountain spine. Then you're going to lift both legs, and then you're going to bicycle. Do some bicycling. Try to keep your toes in line with your knees, in line with your hips, so you can imagine lines on the ceiling that you're following. And then pause and backpedal. And then bring both your legs down to the mat Coming back to sit for just a moment, take a breath. And now make your way onto hands and knees. So we're going to do some cats and dogs here first. And this vinyasa all by itself, cats to dogs, is transformational. You go from a dog with your back in a U shape. You arch your spine to the ceiling in a cat shape. You go from cat to dog to cat to dog. Little transformations. Continue at your own pace. Next time you're in a cat spine, send your hips to your heels for child's pose. And breathe. Send your arms straight out overhead. Look up. Come up on to your right fingertips. Thread your left arm under your right. Look under your right shoulder. Bring your left shoulder down to the mat or as close as it can get. Maybe you lift your hips a little. Unthread your left arm. You're looking between your parallel arms again. Come on to your left fingertips. Thread your right arm under your left. Look under your left arm. Unthread, look forward, parallel arms. Lift your hips, come forward, your heart between your arms, your legs lengthen back behind you. Send your hips to your heels. Come forward again, heart between your arms. Turn under your toes, downward facing dog. Have your chest coming towards your thighs, your heels towards the mat. Push the mat away from you energetically with your hands. Long mountain spine. And then begin to walk your dog. Pause. Come forward to plank. Back to down dog. Come forward to plank. Place both knees on the mat. Bring both forearms on to the mat. Elbows under shoulders. And begin to slide back and forth. Your hips coming towards your thighs, your head coming between your hands as you slide back and forth. Next time you're forward with shoulders under elbows, stretch your right leg back behind you, stretch your left leg back behind you, bring your belly down to the mat, Sphinx pose. Rock your hips from side to side. Send both hands to the corner of your mat. Corners, separate corners. And then straighten your arms for a cobra variation. Bring your elbows down to the mat. Bring your arms parallel, your elbows under your shoulders again. Straighten your arms for a deeper back bend. Bring your forearms to the mat, parallel arms. Bring your belly all the way down to the mat. Slide your hands alongside your breasts, your elbows close to your ribs. Your legs a little closer together than usual for a cobra tail. But first, we're going to come up. And we're going to come up in stages. So first, a baby cobra. Lift your head and shoulders. Do not push into the mat. And then melt back down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, melt back down. So get ready for a full cobra. We're going from Sphinx to cobra. On an inhale, push into the mat. Pubic bone stays on the mat, so your arms will unlikely straighten. Elbows will be bent. Very important pose for upper body strength. Inhale, and then exhale, melt back on to the mat. Keep your hands where they are. We're going to do that once more. On an inhale, come up to your cobra. Again, pubic bone stays on the mat, elbows soft. And then come back down to the mat. Place one hand on top of the other to use as a pillow for your forehead, your elbows going in opposite directions. Makarasana, the crocodile pose. So we went from being a cobra to a crocodile. Our crocodile has big jaw. So you're going to lift your head and your shoulders a little bit. You'll step your elbows and forearms back just a little bit to give you more support. You're going to look forward. You're going to exhale, curl your upper spine up by the shoulders for a very high cat spine, a very high arch in your upper back. Inhale, open your jaw. Exhale, close. Inhale once more. And exhale, bringing your forearms back on to your hands. You're going to lift your head and bring your arms, your elbows back under your shoulders. You're going to bend your right knee, slide your knee as far up to your right elbow as possible. And you'll straighten your arms for an iguana. An iguana have big, long tongues. So inhale, send that tongue out. And bring your elbows back down, send your leg back down. What I forgot to tell you is that you want to send your hands towards the corners of your mat like we did earlier. All right. Bend your left knee, bring it up as far as possible to your left elbow. Straighten your arms and hiss. Grab that fly with your tongue. And bring it down. Bring your leg back down. Pile one hand on top of the other. Come back to crocodile. A lot of shape shifting going on here. Slide your hands under your shoulders, straighten your arms, come up on to your knees, back to a table. And you're going to send your hips to your heels for an extended child's pose with your arms up overhead. Then you're going to lift your hips and bring them over your knees, but your hands are going to walk away from you, and you're going to bring your ears between your arms for a puppy. So puppy, from the top of your body, it's like a downward facing dog, right? So your shoulders, your torso in much closer to the earth, but in a down dog position, while your knees stay under your hips. For puppy pose. Look up between your hands, slide your hands a little closer to you. Turn under your toes from puppy to dog, downward facing dog. Come forward to plank. Bring your knees to the mat. Come back to child's pose. Come to an extended child's pose, your arms overhead on the mat. Lift your hips, turn under your toes, downward facing dog. From down dog, you're going to lift your right leg, send it all the way up to the sky, as high as it can go. And while you're doing that, send your left heel toward the mat. So you don't want to come all the way up on the ball of your foot. You want your heel to come towards the mat. Now open up your hips by bending your knee and sending your knee up to the ceiling and opening up your hips. Square your hips with the mat, bring your right foot back down. Lift your left foot straight up to the sky. Open your hips by bending your knee, sending your foot toward your left foot toward your right buttock.
right heel goes towards the mat. Square your hips with the mat. Bring your leg back down to the mat. Lift your right leg, bend your knee. Come forward to a hovering plank, bringing your knee with you. So your knee is hovering over the mat. Exhale, three-legged dog. Inhale, hovering plank. Inhale, dog. Exhale. This time you're going to place your knee down on the mat between your hands or nearby your hands. Your hands may be in front of your knee. So this is not a pigeon. We're coming into swan. So your hips will not be flat on the mat. If you have blocks, you can bring your hands up onto blocks. And you can come up onto your fingertips and send your wings back behind you as if you were gliding on a glassy lake. Bring your hands back down to the mat. Inhale, exhale, bend your elbows, take a sip or grab a fish. Inhale back up, exhale, fold over, inhale up. Turn under your left toes, lift your left knee away from the mat, three-limbed dog. Bring your right foot down to the mat. Lift your left leg, bend your knee, hovering plank. Inhale, dog. Inhale, exhale. Oh, I'm sorry, inhale, plank. Exhale, dog. Inhale, hovering plank. I may have lost count, should be 3. Bring your knee between your hands. Slide your, turn over your toes, sliding your leg back behind you for a hamsa, a swan, gliding on the lake. This time we will start with our hands down on the mat or on blocks and take a sip of this beautiful glassy lake water. Straighten your arms, come up onto your fingertips. If you have blocks, again, you can slide the blocks back to send your wings back behind you. Bring your hands to your mat, hands back down to the mat in front of you. Turn under your right toes, lift your right knee away from the mat, send your left leg to a three-limbed dog, from dog to a swan. Bring your left foot back down to the mat and walk your feet to your hands. Uttanasana, fold over. Fly out and up and down the center line. Okay. Come
When you get up and straight, come to your mountain. Remember to make sure your feet are planted in the earth, your crown of your head reaching for the heavens, send your arms rolling forward and back and come down naturally by your spine, by your side. Belly toward your spine, lifting your ribs without jutting your chest out, head over heart. Inhale, gather. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. All right. So let's do, I'm not going to turn around yet. Let's do 3 half sun salutations. So we do that by sending our arms out and up. Exhale, fold over your legs, soften your knees. Inhale, halfway up to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, fly out and up and down the center line. Inhale, exhale, fold. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, fly out and up. Bring your prayer to your heart one more time. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Right. Oh, sorry, forgive me. I made some notes for myself and I can't read my writing. So, all right, here I go. Okay, come to the top of your mat. Come to your mountain. Come on to the ball of your right foot. Open up your leg out to the right. Slide your leg up to your calf. Grow your tree. Let your leaves blow in the wind. You can leave your toes down on the mat or your arch of your foot at your calf. I'm still having trouble with that knee, so I'm going to leave it down on the mat. And then bring your hand to your heart. Come back onto the ball of your right foot. Lift your right knee up, step it back to warrior one legs. Send your arms straight out to the sides. Right arm over left, come to eagle arms. Eagle warrior, or going from a warrior to an eagle. Send your forearms up to the sky, back bend. Inhale, bring your elbows and your shoulders down inside your left leg. Push your feet into the mat, unfold. Send your eagle arms to the left. Send your eagle arms through center and over to the other side, over to the right. Step your right leg back into warrior two legs, and then open your wings. Warrior two. Bring your right hand to your right thigh. Frame your head with your left arm for a reverse warrior. Bring both arms up overhead, windmill back down to the mat, coming to a low lunge. Step your right foot forward alongside your left, Uttanasana. Fly out and up and down the center line. Okay, so going to start again with a tree, right? So come on to the ball of your left foot to come to a tree. Lift your arms. So this time we're going to go directly from our tree into a warrior. So you're going to turn your left knee back forward. Turn it where you started out, reaching forward. And then you will lift it up and step back to warrior one. Send your arms straight out to the sides. Left over right, eagle arms. Inhale your forearms up to the sky for a deep back bend. Inhale, exhale, bring your arms inside your legs. Square your hips. Inhale, push your feet into the mat, come back up. Inhale, exhale your eagle arms to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale as you send your arms over to the left, step your left foot into warrior two. And spread your wings, coming in to warrior two. Get your warrior all set up. Make sure your shoulders are square. Your left hand to your left thigh. Frame your right arm over your head for this wind-blown looking warrior. Come back to warrior two. Windmill your hands back down to the mat, come to low lunge. Step your back foot forward, Uttanasana. Take opposite elbows and swing from side to side. Fly out and up and bring your hands
to your heart. All right. Yes, okay. One last sequence. How you doing? Okay. All right, so we're going to do some more shape shifting from one animal to the next. We're going to do birds right now. So you're going to come sit in your chair. Your arms are in front of you. Your legs are together. You don't have to go very, very deep in your chair. Come onto the ball of your right foot, cross it over your left for eagle legs. Left arm over right. Squat down now a little bit more. And then as you come up to straighten your left leg, you're going to open up your arms. Leave your right foot exactly where it is. Bend both knees. Bring your hands to the mat in front of your feet, under your shoulders. You're making sure that your right foot is flat on the mat. You're going to step your left foot back behind you. And you're going to send your right knee down to the mat to come in to a pigeon. Slide your left leg back behind you. And when you get into your pigeon, and don't forget to pad your right hip if your hips are not square. And then come down to your reclining pigeon. From eagle to pigeon. Transformation. Come up onto straight arms. Slide on to your right hip. Swing your left leg around to come in front of your right leg. Your foot is flat on the mat. Going to make sure both sits bones are on the mat. Make sure your right leg is, your knee is on the mat. Your right foot should be behind your left. Your left foot in front of your right ankle. And you're going to take hold of your left foot in both hands. Again, it's important to be on your sits bones to help you with balance. And you're going to lift your left leg any amount. You might come halfway with your left leg parallel to the mat, or you'll straighten it and bring your nose towards your knee for the heron pose. Bring your foot back down to the mat. And remember, you can keep your leg parallel, your shin parallel with the mat. You don't have to straighten it. Bring your foot down. Unthread your right leg. Cross your legs in front of you and roll onto your shins. So make sure one leg is in front of the other. Then step your back leg back, your left leg back, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, your left foot, Uttanasana. And unfold. Bend your knees, legs together, arms straight out in front of you. Cross left leg over right, bend your knees. Come right arm over left, come in to your eagle. Squat down. Then as you come up, you're bringing your weight onto your right leg, you'll spread your wings. Bring your hands down to the mat. Your left foot, your ball of your left foot is on the mat. And then you will place it down, all the way down onto the mat. Step your right foot back behind you. Send your left knee to the left. Place your right knee down onto the mat to come into a pigeon pose. Reclining pigeon. Roll over onto your left hip. Swing your right leg all the way around. Step on it in front of your left ankle. Get your seats, come onto your sits bones. That's what I wanted to say. Take your foot in your hands, your right foot in your hands. Lift your leg any amount. Maybe it'll come parallel to the mat. Maybe you'll straighten it, bringing your nose to your knee. Excellent. For heron. Bring your foot back down. Cross one shin in front of the other so that you can lift your hips, come up onto your shins, send the back leg back, the other leg back to downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward, your right foot forward, Uttanasana. And instead of unfolding, stay right where you are. Bring one knee down to the mat, bring the other knee, and come on down to your mat. And come all the way down to your back. We will do our inversion here. If you like to put something under your hips, by all means, do that. Or just simply lift one leg and then the other for legs up the wall. And think about your legs in position as if they were against the wall. And your hips were against the wall. So your legs would be directly over your hips. Your ankles would be over your hips. Bring your feet onto the mat. Extend one leg and then the other to come into Shavasana. Feel your back body sinking in to the earth. Your arms are rotated, palms facing up. Om Namah Shivaya. I surrender to transformation and welcome the changes that will lead me to who I am. Begin to reawaken your body. Roll your head from side to side. Gentle motions with your hands and feet. Send your arms overhead, back behind you, your feet in the opposite direction for a full body stretch. Then bring your knees into your chest, hug them, and roll from side to side. Come to center, release your legs, roll over on to any side you prefer to come to a fetal position. And then make your way up to sit. And thank you both so much, everyone so much for being with me tonight.